You never forget kids like Emily or Andy. But they forget you.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 saddest Pixar moments.
Even if I never got to see Coco in the living world, I thought at least one day I'd see her here. Give her the biggest hug.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most heartbreaking scenes found in Pixar movies. What Pixar moment set off your waterworks? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. The death of Coral and her eggs, Finding Nemo. If you're a Pixar fan, then you know that sometimes the beginning can be the saddest part of the whole movie.
Did your man deliver, or did he deliver?
My man delivered.
This is certainly the case for Finding Nemo. We're presented with a sweet scene between a couple of clownfish, Marlin and Coral. About to be new parents, the couple have moved into the most perfect underwater neighborhood.
Do we really need so much space?
Coral, honey, these are our kids we're talking about. They deserve the best. Look. They'll wake up, poke their little heads out, and they see a whale passing right by their bedroom window.
Their happiness is short-lived, however, as a vicious barracuda attacks their reef, killing Coral and all of their eggs. All except for one, which Marlin finds with a small crack in its shell. Holding him close, Marlin promises never to let anything bad happen to him.
It's okay, Daddy's here. Daddy's got you. I promise I will never let anything happen to you, Nemo.
Not even 5 minutes into the movie and we're already in tears. Number 9. Jessie's Past, Toy Story 2. Jessie has had to experience every toy's worst nightmare not once, but twice. After years of playtime, her former owner Emily inevitably grew up.
So the years went by, I stayed the same, but she began to drift away. I was left alone.
When she rediscovered her forgotten toy years later, Jessie's hopes were high, but Emily put her in a box and dropped her off at a donation center. There's literally nothing Jessie could have done.
When she loved me.
This moment is already devastating enough, but add in the touching song When She Loved Me over the scene, and you're guaranteed a good cry. Luckily, when this happens a second time with Andy, she has friends who are right there with her.
What if Andy doesn't like me?
Nonsense, Andy'll love you. Besides, he's got a little sister.
He does? Why didn't you say so? Let's go!
Number 8. Sully says goodbye to Boo, Monsters, Inc. Although Sully and Boo get off on the wrong foot, the two eventually form a pretty special bond, making their goodbye extra painful. It begins when Sully finds out her door is getting shredded just as he's dropping her off.
What, you mean I can't see her again?
That's the way it has to be. I'll give you 5 minutes.
The pain he feels is so clear that even the audience feels it. As Boo tugs him into her room, Sully tucks her in one last time, bidding her a tearful farewell with one last monster hug.
Goodbye, Boo.
Kitty.
Kitty has to go.
He closes the door, and right after he does, Boo climbs out of her bed, opens the door, and tries scaring her monster friend.
Boo. Kitty.
Unfortunately, there's no Sully in her closet anymore, and there won't be for a long while. Cue the waterworks. Number 7. Woody and his friends almost get incinerated, Toy Story 3. Count this moment as one of the most terrifying things you watched as a kid. We get it, they're toys. But in this world, they're alive and about to burn to death. We were just recovering from the shredder scene when things went from bad to worse for Woody and the gang.
Woody, look! I can see daylight! We're gonna be okay! I don't think that's daylight.
The toys find out that the conveyor belt they're trapped on leads to a hot, fiery end. They come up with a plan to escape, but of course it hinges on Lotso, who betrays them.
Where's your kid now, Sheriff?
The toys end up in the incinerator, and with seemingly no rescue in sight, they have no choice but to accept their fate. They're going out, but at least they're going out together. Thankfully, those space alien toys saved the day, or we don't think we'd ever stop crying.
You saved our lives. And we are eternally grateful.
Number 6. WALL-E loses his memory. WALL-E. Only Pixar could make us cry at the prospect of a robotic trash compactor losing its memory. After an entire movie's worth of build-up around WALL-E and Eve's mechanical love story, tragedy strikes. After WALL-E is crushed into whatever constitutes a death for robots, Eve works diligently to repair his broken parts. It works, except he doesn't remember her or anything about himself. It appears he's been reset to his default system. There is a long moment where we believe his memory might truly be gone. With a little spark, he remembers. Thank the Pixar gods. For that little while when WALL-E wasn't himself, though, you can bet audiences were sniffling up a storm. Number 5. Dory's Journey. Finding Dory. Baby Dory's adorableness, or should we say adorableness, is enough to make us cry on its own. Seriously, look at those big eyes. But her past is fairly tragic.
I'm sorry. I suffer from short-term memory loss.
This regal blue tangfish has been suffering from short-term memory loss her entire life, which inevitably leads her to get separated from her parents. We follow Dory as she becomes older, continuing the search, but always forgetting any progress she might have made.
All I know is that I miss them. I really, really miss them. I didn't know what that felt like. Do you know what that feels like?
Eventually, Dory finds a trail of shells that leads her home to her parents. Turns out they've never stopped searching for her either.
Honey, why do you think we stayed put here all these years? Because we believed one day you'd find us again.
Exactly!
Number 4. Bing Bong's Sacrifice. Inside Out. Inside Out turned out to be a lot more emotional than many expected. It deals with mental health, growing up, and all the convoluted ways we handle our emotions. When joy and sadness get sucked into Riley's long-term memory, they meet Bing Bong, Riley's forgotten imaginary friend.
You really do know me?
Well, of course! Riley loves playing with you. You two are best friends.
Joy, after leaving sadness behind, gets stuck with him in the memory dump. In order to get Joy back to headquarters, Bing Bong sacrifices himself in an extremely moving, not to mention selfless act.
You made it! Go save Riley!
Take her to the moon for me, okay?
By the end of the movie, Riley finally breaks down with sadness at the forefront and is able to open up to her parents about her true feelings. Whether you watch this movie as a child or an adult, bring tissues.
I want to go home. Please don't be mad. Oh, sweetie.
We're not mad.
Number 3. Andy gives away his toys. Toy Story 3. This movie had the toys' worst nightmare come true. Andy getting too old for them.
But we've always said this job isn't about getting played with, it's about
being there for Andy, we know. But we can try again, right?
I'm calling it, guys. We're closing up shop.
Although he intends to take Woody to college and store the rest of them in the attic, a mistake sees the toys donated to Sunnyside Daycare. And while they eventually make it back to Andy, Woody is left with a difficult decision. When Andy drops off his toys at Bonnie's, the little girl from Sunnyside who actually took Woody home during the mix-up, an incredibly touching moment occurs.
Someone told me you're really good with toys. These are mine, but I'm going away now. So I need someone really special to play with them.
Andy finds Woody at the bottom of the box and is clearly not ready to give him up. Letting go is never easy, and we know because after 15 years and 3 movies, we also had to say goodbye to our favorite gang of toys.
Thanks, guys.
Until Toy Story 4, that is.
trash. No. That's the trash. These are your friends.
Number 2. Mama Coco remembers her father's song, Coco. After it's revealed that Hector is Miguel's great-great-grandfather and Mama Coco's father, Miguel does everything he can to bring Hector's memory back to the land of the living. Just as Mama Coco is beginning to fully forget, however, Miguel returns to the living world and rushes off to play her the song her father used to sing to her.
Remember me, though I have to say goodbye. Remember me, don't let it make you cry.
Things get emotional as Mama Coco slowly remembers him. It turns out she still has his photo, which is the missing piece they need to put up on the ofrenda.
Papa was a musician. When I was a little girl, he and Mama would sing such beautiful songs.
Hector is saved, his name is cleared, and he finally reunites with his daughter in the land of the dead. This movie tugged at just as many guitar strings as it did our heartstrings. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Merida apologizes to her mother, Brave. This scene is unbearable to watch. Too soon?
You've always been there for me. You've never given up on me. I just want you back.
Lightning McQueen's crash, Cars 3. The filmography of this scene, man oh man. Dory begs Marlin to stay, finding Nemo. When the optimistic character breaks, we break.
And I look at you and I'm home. Please. I don't want that to go away. I don't want to forget.
Barley gets to see his dad again. Onward. Ian returns the favor of being a good brother.
He's very proud of the person you grew up to be.
Well, I owe an awful lot of that to you.
He kinda said that too.
Woody and Buzz's goodbye. Toy Story 4. So long, partner.
To infinity and beyond.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Opening sequence. Up. The movie begins with Carl and Ellie meeting as starry-eyed children.
I just don't know how I'm gonna get to Paradise Falls. That's it! You can take us there in a blimp!
The two of them grow up together, and somewhere along the way, fall in love and get married. And even though there's barely any dialogue, we already care so deeply for these two characters. But then, the first tragedy befalls them. They can't have children. Still, they pick themselves up and continue chasing the dream of moving to Paradise Falls. Life gets in the way, and it's only by the time they've gone gray that they can afford tickets. Carl intends to surprise Ellie with them, but she unfortunately falls ill before he can give them to her. Ellie passes away, leaving Carl alone with their unrealized adventure. Yep, the movie barely starts by the time we're already in full sobs. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.